Hello everyone, welcome to Success EduTech. I am Gayatri Joshi Thomre. My qualification is MBA in Training and Development. Through all these videos, I am going to take you to the next level in English speaking. In this video, we are going to see what are verbs. Today we are going to learn part 1. Verbs are a word or a combination of words. They may refer to an action or a state. An action can be a physical action, but a state can be a mental. An action word, examples of an action word are run, play, jump. That means it shows a physical activity. A state, when it's a state word, then like, think, understand. Such are state words. Let's move on to the next point, that is forms of verbs. There are 4 forms of verbs: present tense form, past tense form, perfect tense form, and continuous tense form. They are present participle, past participle also. But we are going to use them in English speaking, so we will make it very simple and easy. Okay, so I have written here V1, V2, V3 and V4 for our convenience. We can easily remember these 4 forms. V1, go, that is a base form. First one, this is first verb and this is second verb. Go, went, second form is went, third form is gone. Similarly, forms of verb listen are listened, listened, and listening. These 4 forms we use in all tenses, active passive voice, and modal auxiliary verbs as per its usage. Now, types of verbs. Let's move on to its first type, that is main verb. It shows an action word. It has meaning on its own. Okay, so example is talk, study. When I use such words in a sentence, they have their meaning on their own. On the other hand, helping verbs, as the name suggests, auxiliary verb or helping verb, they help to action words, to main verbs, so they don't have meaning on their own. For example, am, is, are, was, were, will be, can, could, may, might, all these are helping verbs. Now, there are other types as well. Those are transitive, intransitive, and the third one, transitive, intransitive. That means the words can be transitive and intransitive both. So, first type is transitive verbs. VT is written in dictionary to show that it is a transitive verb. So it's an acronym or a short form used for transitive verb in a dictionary. First one is direct object. Now, these are important points to be remembered. First one is direct object. That means how to guess transitive verb. We can guess transitive verbs by seeing the presence of direct object. That means when we ask questions to a verb, by what or whom. If we get an object, if we get an answer, then it's a direct object. On the other hand, intransitive verbs don't have object, direct object. Okay, and so examples are what, give, help, solve, etc. I watch movies. Here's an example in a sentence: I watch movies. If I ask, what do I watch? I get an answer directly. So that is a direct object, movies. And as the direct object present is present here, it's a transitive verb. Now, intransitive verb is I walk in the garden. Walk, run, jump, wake. So if I say I walk in the garden, if I ask a question to the verb, what I walk, we don't get answer. If I say whom I walk, because we have to ask questions by what or whom. So then also we don't get an answer. So that means it does not contain object, and that's why it's an intransitive verb. Now, intransitive and transitive intransitive verb, it may contain object or may not contain object, but it can be used with both. Okay, so here he moves his hand, he moves freely. That means if I use here, he moves his hand. What does he move? If I ask a question, I get an answer, his hand. So there's a direct object, and that's why it's a transitive verb in this particular sentence. Now another sentence is he moves freely. If I ask what he moves, I don't get an answer. Whom he moves or whom does he move, we don't get an answer. That's why it's an intransitive verb in this particular sentence. Now here, this is a tip that is we have already discussed, which every time you can ask, especially while solving or while writing. You can get the time to ask such questions. Ask what and when to get object. Now, next types are regular and irregular verbs. These are very easy to understand because regular verbs contains ed in the second and third forms. We have already discussed which are second and third forms of verbs. So ed are applied on to the second and third form. On the other hand, to irregular verbs, second and third forms are totally different from its first form. Let's see the examples, that is talk, talked, talked, and here speak, spoke, spoken, spoke and spoken. Second verb and third verb form are totally different from the first speak, but here we have applied ed. Decide, decided, decided. Write, wrote, written. Now here, though there's an ed, I have pronounced it as decided, ed, because there is d, duh at last. Okay, pronunciation, or it sounds duh, and that's why I have used when it sounds duh or t at the end, we use ed. That means we pronounce it as ed, decided, targeted. Now let's move on to the next type, that is stative verbs. There are again stative and dynamic verbs. Two verbs which we can compare. First one is stative verb, that it refers to state or condition. That means it does not contain any action. When I say you seem to be good, that means it is not an action. But when I say he is walking, he walks, then it refers to an action directly. So that is the difference between stative verbs and dynamic verbs. They dynamic verbs often contains action, whereas stative verbs, as the name suggests, they are states or conditions. So walk, run, laugh, these are dynamic verbs, and seem, like, understand are stative verbs. So with this, in part 1 we have completed all types of verbs. In second part we will have other parts, other types of verbs, that is linking verb and finite, non-finite verbs. Here I have a question for you based on all these types. In part 1, she sings songs and her brother plays guitar beautifully, thus they performed on stage. Now you have to guess verbs and their types. You have to write them in the comment section below. And I'm giving you a hint, that is, there are more than one verb, and one verb can fall in more than one type. Okay, so I'm waiting for your answers, and the correct answer will be declared in the next video, part 2 of verbs. So thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, if you understand what I taught you, then please like, share, comment, and do let me know if you have any suggestions, and please subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.